Hey guys, this Letter Magic here, still a little stuffed up with a little bit of sore throat from being sick, but you know what else is totally sick? This event. It's the launch of the much-awaited Historic format, which, by the way, is going to be extinct, because they just announced, very recently, that Historic is kind of temporary. Their goal is to reach parity with Pioneer, and Pioneer starts quite a bit further back than Historic does. But, let me just mention, this is a little bit misleading. It says build a 60 card deck utilizing any cards in your MTG Arena collection. I guess that's technically true, but not the way I thought about it. I thought by that they meant any card you've ever owned in the history of Arena, or any card that was added to Arena ever. No, I don't remember the exact schedule, but when the game first launched as a beta, I believe we had Amonkhet and Aether Revolt and all that out. Those are not included. So whether it's a good thing or a bad thing that Torment of Hailfire isn't in the game, I really wanted like Battle at the Bridge. There's a couple of my older decks I wanted to run, but if I'm recalling this correctly, and it's not like I was taking notes at the time, I think there were 2 full resets during the beta, one of which was during a standard rotation, and then there was one at launch, I think. But either way, I mean, I remember playing with those older cards, so I thought, oh, well, they're bringing those back because they're already in the game. No, which makes no sense because they said they're going to keep adding cards to Historic until it is Pioneer, which, by the way, they can't do. Let me show you why. You might remember there's a little catch to Historic to make it just a little bit more expensive to play, which, oh, everybody appreciated that. And also more broken, by the way. Ignore all this, Here we go. Historic Anthology 1. These are the cards that are older than the Historic format that they're adding just to burn your wildcards, and initially you did need 2 wildcards to unlock one of these. So if you wanted to unlock Soul Warden, you needed 2 common wildcards. Which, I mean, so what until you get into the rares. The backlash was extreme over that, and they have since said you can just get 1. But now, you can just straight up, in fact, I'll throw it up, it's live right now, 3,400 gems, you can buy them all. 4 of each of them for 3,400 gems. So, I mean, that's like a lot of cards, and you currently don't have any of these, because that's just how that works. So, I mean, kind of expensive, and they're just directly selling you singles, which is a no-no in Paper World, but in MTGO, that's practically what they do. I mean, there is the market. So, I mean, adding the same thing to Arena, it's not like it's unheard of. But, adding these at all was very questionable. I mean, what do they think they're doing? Like, Standard is bad enough already, like in the history of Standard for the last 2 or 3 years, which is about what this is. Do we really need them screwing with it? Because that worked so well for Modern Horizons. The answer is absolutely no. And this whole 3,400 gem shakedown, that's ridiculous. That's just stupid. They're basically saying if you want to play it at all, and your deck just happens to need some of these, you're going to have to drop these gems. I will say at least it's 3,400 on the dot, which happens to be exactly $19.99 US, so, you know, not the steepest thing in the world if you consider it like an expansion pack or a DLC. I guess 20 is about right, but I don't, and you still need to build the decks. Unless you have the old decks, and then, well, you have the old decks, maybe you don't need these. So it's all kind of up in the air. Everybody's going to have a different response to this, but I figured let's break these down. So Soul Warden, this is just stupid. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. We literally already have 2 cards that do this. One's a creature, one's an enchantment. It's a Johnny's whatever, and then that other guy. And that other guy I think costs like 2. So this is 1, okay, whatever. And this is human subtype, cleric subtype, whatever. But like, did we really need this? No, I think we're stacking it up a little bit too hard, especially with black-white life gain as a trigger decks. Then we've got Distant Melody. Choose a creature type, draw a card for each permanent you control of that type. So making Tribal as toxic as humanly possible. Cool. And then they put it in the most toxic color, blue. Wonderful. I know we really needed this. My life wasn't complete without Distant Melody in the game. Then we've got Treasure Hunt. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card, then put all cards revealed this way into your hand. That is just asking for trouble. This is the most like specifically exploitable card that I've seen in the entire list. Like in a normal deck or in a draft, it would just be interesting, but in a deck that runs like 10 lands on purpose, oh my gosh. The problem is nothing comes to mind that this would run in right now. But why add it? Why risk it? Then we've got Tendrils of Corruption, deals X damage to target creature and you gain X life for X's number of swamps you control. Now see, that's a fantastic card. absolutely fantastic. It's 4 cost, it's instant speed. All these have been common so far too, unless they're changing the rarity. Because I don't even know what that set symbol is, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, this is perfect for the launch of like Black Devotion in we'll just call it Return to Theros because I don't remember what it's called. But yeah, we've got some swamp stuff right now, and we had some in the very recent past as well. So just fantastic addition. Then we've got Goblin Matron. Not a fantastic addition. When it enters battlefield, you may search your library for a goblin card, reveal that card, then put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. So, you know, a 1/1 for 3 garbage card, but it's a free fetch and it's a goblin tribal, and goblins got out of control in recent history a little bit. I mean, they were, like, the game was set up to stop Selesnya Rush, so the cards were there, but people were still playing, you know, token dump, especially with the mentor ability and all the goblin ETB stuff, so... oh, I don't know. That was a very questionable ad. Then we got Kiln Fiend. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +3 until end of turn. Absolutely idiotic. This is one of the most ban-worthy cards right now is Chandra's Shitbird, which is +3 pseudo prowess, and now we have one on the ground. I mean, we didn't need this. We didn't want this. This should be banned right now from Historic, to be perfectly honest. So, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable that they put this in, especially when it costs 2 and it's an elemental. Ridiculous. Then we got Elvish Visionary. I mean, when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Cool. People are already playing Elf Ball in Historic. That's what they were going for, obviously. I hate elves, but there are worse cards. Then there's Mind Stone. Interesting ad here. It's a 2 cost, taps for colorless, so you get a little refund because you can tap it immediately when you drop it in. And then if you pay 1 and sacrifice it, you draw a card. So... I don't know, it's just a famous artifact synergy card. I don't know what you do with it, but it's one of those dangerous cards where you can run away with like artifact affinity sort of, but we don't have a whole lot like that in standard. So it's one of those cards that can only get worse from here on, but isn't a problem right now, which once again begs the question, why risk it? Why put this in? Then we got Ornithopter, classic card. Whoa, hi, what's going on? Okay, there we go. It's a 0/2 for 0 flyer. You guys know what it is. It was in Kaladesh. So, I mean, whatever. not a very amazing card. I mean, it is artifact synergy, but it doesn't do much. Then we got Burning Tree Emissary. Okay, I hate this card. This is one of my most hated cards from when I started playing Magic. It is so broken. So it's a 2/2 for 2 hybrid, and when it enters battlefield, you basically get a full refund on its ability. So I've had people chain together so many of these, you gotta wonder if they stack their deck. I hate this card. I hate everything about it. I hate free casting. I just hate it. I hate this card. And Human Shaman, what is that? Why is this here? Is this just a green-only Selesnya Flood card? What the hell is this and why did they add it? Then we've got Kinsblade Cavalier. I think, is this the first rare we've seen? Let's see, these are all like common, uncommon so far, which is nice. Oops, here we go. So, night creatures you control have double strike, and this is a 2/2 for 4. Okay. So they really wanted to push Knights pretty hard, apparently, which Knights are already good. They're a very, like, tier 1.5 deck right now, no matter if it's mono white, white black, white red, or all 3. I've seen all of them work, which is exactly what I predicted during spoiler season. But now this, I mean, yeah, it costs 4. Yeah, it's very killable, but, like, damn. That card's crazy. Wow. Hope they know what they're doing, because if Knights take over, it'll be because of this card. Hard to predict that would actually happen when it costs 4, though. But it is single color with 3 generic, though. That really helps. Then we got Hypnotic Specter. Very famous card here. That's a 3-cost 2/2 flying. When it deals damage to an opponent, that player discards a card at random. That's just kind of a fun card. I mean, everybody's heard of this card at this point. I think we have enough discard effects that are pretty toxic, but this one, you have to leave it in play. You have to hit them. It doesn't do very much damage. It's double black out of 3, and then... it's random, so it's like, I mean, compared to just like a 2-cost nuke card. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't like recurring discard effects, but, I mean, this is really slow. So next up, Imperious Perfect, not Prefect. I don't know what they were going for there. That's, okay. It's a 2/2 for 3, and it's another elf because we just needed more of those. And other elf creatures you control get +1/+1, so they're adding elf tribal to Historic. Cool, thanks. I'm so glad everybody's playing this. Then if you pay green, tap it, create an elf. Are you kidding me? I hate this card. I hate elves. I hate elf tribal. And then I hate that they're forcing this on us in Historic. One of the most toxic tribals in the game. Then we've got Crypt Breaker. It's a rare from Eldritch Moon. Very interesting. It's a 1-cost 1/1 zombie, but if you pay 2, tap it, discard a card, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. Tap 3 untapped zombies you control, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So the ultimate zombie tribal card. It costs 1. You can slot it in without killing your whole curve. Very, very, very famous card. Pretty expensive actually in paper, so I can see why they would add this. It just takes zombie tribal and really like boosts it, but I think without some of the sets that are missing, it still isn't necessarily playable. Then we got Fauna Shaman, another freaking elf. It's a 2-cost 2/2, another rare, and if you tap it and pay 1, discard a creature card, search your library for a creature card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. So this in a Simic ramp deck or this in an elf deck is absolutely horrific because you can do this over and over and over. Recurring fetch for a 1-of that you need, oh my god, like do not underestimate that, especially for 2. You can do this turn 3 when you have maybe like 5 mana available and just dominate the game, just absolutely ruin the whole game for everybody. So thanks for adding this toxic elf to the game, Wizards. Oh boy, Darksteel Reactor, here we go. It is indestructible, which is funny because we have, turn an artifact into a creature effects in the game right now. Costs 4, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a charge counter on Darksteel Reactor. When it has 20 or more charge counters on it, you win the game. Cool. Probably the most unnecessary and completely toxic card that they could possibly add. So thanks for that. Alternate win con. Everybody loves those. Then we got Captain Sisay. Didn't see that one coming. Mythic here. 2/2 for 4, and if you tap her and search your library for a legendary card, reveal that card, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. So, I mean, she doesn't have haste. I mean, it's an interesting card. It works perfectly with Dominaria, I guess, but legendary as a mechanic never really caught on. Maybe they're trying to do it with this, but she costs 4, and those weren't the most popular colors, so questionable ad here. Then we got Phyrexian Arena, which is a 3-cost rare black enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and lose 1 life. I don't think we needed that. I think that's a little OP. That whole draw 2 while your opponent draws 1 in a control color, that is a recipe for disaster. That is absolutely playing with fire. So we're almost done here. We got Hidetsuga's Second Right. Must be a Kamigawa card, another rare here. If target player has exactly 10 life, it deals 10 damage to that player. Why? Why did they add this? Why was out of all the 25,000 plus cards that have ever been designed, this is what they needed to add? This is what Standard was missing, everybody. What the hell? This is so weird. I mean, this would work with Rakdos pinging for 1, but it's just so dumb. This card is just stupid. It's just idiotic. Like, even holding it in your hand and hoping it maybe happens is such a liability. Oh, I hate everything about that card. Whatever. It's a stupid, stupid addition. Then we've got Sarah Ascendant. Oh boy, a 1/1 for 1 human monk with lifelink, and as long as you have 30 or more life, it has +5/+5 in flying. I think that's actually hilarious. I mean, we have one angel that already does something kind of like this, but to a lesser degree. But this being a 1/1 for 1 dump, I mean, if they don't destroy this by the time you have 30 life, that's on them. I think this is actually a perfectly fair card. So we did run into a couple rares here, which means you have to burn some wild cards. It is some of the better cards, but at least a lot of them, if you're just like, oh, I just want to play Distant Melody, should be a common wild card. And in fact, I just verified it. I jumped into Arena, opened up one of my only historic decks, which is really just one of my older decks, and I added 4 Distant Melodies to it, and it took 4 common wild cards. So there you go. So is the addition of Historic good or bad? Is it fun to play or is it a disaster? It's really neither. I've seen a lot of people streaming it, and I've seen a lot of people commenting about whether they think it's fun, what their experience was like. I've asked Discord, all that kind of stuff. And the consensus seems to be people either love it or hate it or both, and they're all correct, because this is like, oh, cool, I get to run that deck that I used to run in the past. I get to run those cards again. Oh, I love those. Yay, Blast from the Past. Oh, I loved playing with those. I miss those. Oh, this is so fun. Oh, I get to finally play this again. Or, oh, I get to play a slightly better version of my deck that I absolutely dominated with a year ago. This is great. Mixed with, oh my god, this is back. And trust me, mono red, toxic as hell. Field of the Dead, which is still legal in Historic, toxic as hell. Nexus to Fairy Lockout, toxic as hell. So they brought back all the cool stuff. They brought back all the horribly overpowered, broken stuff that everybody hated. So in other words, it's exactly like everything else in Magic. It's exactly like Standard. If you go in Standard and you're like, I'm going to build a really fun deck that I'm going to enjoy playing with, it's my style, it's pretty powerful but not like overbearing crazy, then you bring it to F&M and get your fun time ruined by some net decking asshole running some toxic drag the game out lockdown prison deck that takes 40 minutes. Like, somebody can come in with some broken crap and ruin your fun time in any format. The same goes for Commander, except it's more community policed. Because there's some really broken stuff in Commander, like some turn 2 win con infinite combo crap. But are you going to allow somebody playing that in your playgroup? Probably not. It's the most like casual, self-policed, community-run format, despite what the ban list would suggest. So you can have fun in Commander. It's very likely you'll have fun and be able to express all kinds of creativity building whatever you want, but somebody can come in with a broken deck that's not fun and ruin it for you. So I can't name a format where that's not true except for like Draft and Sealed. So with this, I mean, you got to take the good, you got to take the bad. So is there anything that takes it past that 50-50 point where it's as good or as bad as Standard ever was? I think yes, because remember, Standard had cards banned from it. Historic, currently, as far as I know, does not. And I mean, despite a tiny power shift up, and I mean minuscule, you might find 1 or 2 or 3 cards that upgrade your deck a little tiny bit. So the power increase is negligible, but then they left all the broken crap from the last couple, cycles of Standard set releases in Standard without banning them. I would say bare minimum in Historic, everything that has been banned in Standard is banned in Historic. That would be a good starting point, because then at least they would clean it up to the point where it would be a lot more fun to play. Because if they want people to play this, it has to be slightly more enjoyable than Standard. And if they at least want to bring it up to parity, they have to get rid of the things that were ruining Standard at the time. And honestly, even past that, the larger card pool is allowing for some very degenerate mill decks. And everybody knows mill is not fun. Board wipe, loop decks, just the stuff you never want to play against, that was cranked up to 11 as well. So they really ought to police this and aggressively ban certain things, and they should really stop throwing in random stupid cards that throw a monkey wrench in the works, like basically a third of the list down below. And adding unnecessary cards, they're going to have to remove them later if they ditch Historic in favor of Pioneer, because a lot of these cards aren't legal in Pioneer. So very questionable direction and decision on this. I guess as far as the event itself, it was okay. I dusted off 2 old decks and played with them, and I won about half the games and lost half the games, so cool. But some of the decks that went up against, I'm like, oh, cool, this is back. This is kind of fun to play with. Oh, I can't believe I shut that down. Oh, what an interesting game of Magic. That was fun and interesting, even if I lost, even if I won. I mean, it's like, this is enjoyable gameplay. And other games, not so much. I mean, Red Rush, I barely even got to play 2 cards before I lost. It was ridiculous. And then another time I went up against Red Rush with my 1/1 Death Toucher removal deck, and on turn 4 they had nothing left because I killed it all, so they forfeited. So I also didn't get to play my deck. It's not about winning or losing, it's about enjoyable gameplay. Do you think I went away from that game saying, wow, what a great time? No, I wanted to play the damn game. This isn't about wins, this is about having fun. Like, come on, people. So, yeah, you just get the styles. I don't think you get 1 copy of the cards here. The entry fee is 1,000 gold, whatever. It's 1 pack. I mean, who doesn't have that? You could literally get that in a day. I would have made the rewards a little better. I mean, now everybody's going to have these, so you don't really feel special having them. It's just encouraging you to look at them and unlock them. So pretty blah event, but whatever, you have until November 25th to finish it. Or start it. I would just take an old deck list, assuming you didn't delete it, and just run that. It maybe takes some time to upgrade it, but that's about it. So I know somebody's going to ask. I was running Burn It All and Duck and Cover, of course, because, what else would I be running? I really should just get Firepower, aka Life You to Death, the hybrid black-white edition. I should get that running, but honestly, it didn't seem that much better. It's maybe 1 to 2 cards better than it was before. The version of it right now that's in Standard is better than the one from the last rotation, so there's not much to do between them. Well, in my head, I think I was like, oh, I could down curve 1 from 3 to 2, and that's it. That deck barely even wins right now, so I don't know. What were you winning with? What were you playing with? Leave your comment down below. And what you think of Historic? Do you prefer Pioneer? Do you like Historic? Did you have fun? What's the most toxic deck you went up against? Any of your thoughts, leave them down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.